Hey Peanut, how you feeling? If I could take a guess on how you're feeling by what's going on in my external reality right now, I could say you're feeling a little bit chaotic. There was a little boy that just started crying, there's construction going on downstairs, the neighbor is playing Crazy by Gnarls Barkley, and what I'm tuning into when I'm feeling all of this happening, what I'm feeling from you, is that maybe, just maybe, you're crazy. All of these things are happening in your life. Your intuition is trying to guide you down a path that makes no sense to you. And you're sitting there thinking, maybe I'm crazy. You're feeling really emotional. You're the little kid who's crying. You feel like you are so lost and confused. You feel uncomfortable. You feel out of control. But the construction that's going on is happening within you. You're reconstructing yourself. And with that, it's gonna be uncomfortable. With that, you're going to feel crazy. Why? Because you're dismantling so much old programming that is no longer serving you. And I know that right now, self-sabotage is coming up like a mother. And this is because when you are asked to become more, when you are being called into a new life, when you are stepping towards your manifestations, that energy is new. You don't know what that feels like as a human being, so you start to freak out a little bit. And as you reach for the things that are self-sabotaging you, whether it's food or a person or an old way of thinking, a way of speaking to yourself, whatever self-sabotage looks like for you, and whatever you're reaching for most right now is because that is from the old. And when you're stepping into the new and you get so uncomfortable, you're gonna reach for that old familiar in order to bring you that sense of comfort. As much as I understand this, and I'm going through it too, as much as I understand this and as much as I know that it feels like it's helping, I promise you it's not. That bag of chips, speaking of me, that bag of chips that you are consuming might drop you down in frequency enough to make you comfortable temporarily, but that gnawing in your soul, that call that you are getting is not going to stop. You can't eat your way out of this. You can't drink your way out of this. You are being called. And no matter what you do, no matter how many times you step backwards, there is always going to be that ringing inside of your soul. And you need to answer. God is asking you to answer. And you can ignore it. You can keep stepping backwards. You can keep going to the old familiar, the comfortable path. But that's not the path that you actually want for yourself. Yes, it might feel like that is where you belong because that's where you're not being challenged, because that's where you don't have to make the hard decisions, because that's where you get to continue being you, even if that really isn't working for you. So my loves, we are being asked to decide, do we really want that future? Well, I'm about to get emotional. Do we really want that future? Do we really want to be better? Do we really want to follow our soul instead of just our human? I know you're answering yes. I know it because I am too. Stop self-sabotaging. You are so important, and what you are being called to, you have no idea, standing from where you're standing, how much importance that actually has on this world. I want you to feel important. I want you to step into your power and remember the totality of who you are. Because it's important, because you're important. Because when you decide to say screw it and you just follow your soul, no matter how scary, no matter how uncomfortable you are, you give other people the permission to do the same thing. And imagine if we lived in a world where people did not follow their egos, where people listened to the call of their soul, even in fear. Imagine. But seriously, imagine. Imagine a world where people were not led by their ego. What a beautiful world it would be. And I know that's the world that you want, the world that you are manifesting, the world that you are trying to step into. So the only thing that you have to do is step. Those old comforting behaviors, those old comforting people, those old comforting ways of being, those old patterns of eating, they are not going to serve you. They haven't been serving you, and you know that. So all you have to do is decide and step. Yes, maybe on paper that sounds really simple, and I know that fear is a real thing, but you have nothing to be scared of. Why would your soul be intuitively guiding you to something that is bad for you? That's what the ego does, because the ego cannot see the full picture. Your soul knows all. When you connect with your soul and you connect with God, which I know you're doing, I know you're meditating, I know you're praying, I know you're spending time in stillness, I know you're paying attention to your dreams, I know you're doing the inner work, I know you are. And when you're doing these things, you have such a deep connection to yourself and to a higher source, to God. So when you tune into that, which is way bigger than your human self, why would you think that that next move, that next choice, that new life isn't going to be more than what you're living in now and more than you possibly could have dreamt of? Yeah, you're manifesting, but that manifestation from your tiny human brain, God love it, is nothing compared to what God has in store for you. Fear is such a weird thing that we experience as humans because it makes us question our internal knowing. Because that's the knowing that cannot be made sense of. You just have a feeling. Trust your gut. You know. It's an internal knowing that I don't know how to explain. I just know. Your intuition. And leaning into that, that's the only way to get these things that you truly desire. You have to listen to your intuition. Yes, maybe the path to get there has a few obstacles on it that you're going to have to overcome. But would you rather stay small? Would you rather stay in a life that really doesn't fit you? You're squished into this tiny box of a life, and your soul is begging you to get out. And it's funny because that gnawing that you have, it's not funny, but that gnawing that you have inside of you that is begging you to just listen, to just do what it's asking, that is your soul. And your soul's like, come on, I promise you it's not scary. I promise you it might feel bad for un momento and then it's gonna feel great. You don't have to feel this consistent gnawing in your stomach anymore. You can make the leap. This is just something that I am going through in my own life. I can feel so deeply that it's collective. We are so connected. It is absolutely insane. And I know that when one struggles, others are struggling. So if I'm going through it, I will hold the torch and I will light up the path because I know exactly what this feels like. And I also know exactly what to do. Listening is the hard part. But once you listen to that small intuitive nudge, it's going to give you the courage to listen to the big one. That time that your soul is asking you to jump off a cliff. Your wings are ready, and they've been ready. They've just been waiting for you. They've been strengthened, they've grown. So when you hurl your human body off that cliff, please don't actually do that. Those wings are going to make you soar to heights that you have never even explored before. This part of our human evolution, you are being asked to step because there are people who are going to need you. The way that we're living in this world is not sustainable. And you know that. And the only way to move forward from the position that we're in is to step. is to become leaders, to lead by that example. That life wasn't working for me. So I woke up. And when I woke up, I started making different moves. I started making different choices. I started thinking different thoughts. I started hanging around different people. I started watching new types of content. I started eating differently. I started moving my body in a way that felt good. I started cutting out all of the toxic products that I'm putting on my skin. I became different. I evolved. Why? Because my soul was asking me to. And this is just one more thing on that list that you are going to add. I jumped because my soul asked me. Maybe I questioned, maybe I was afraid, but I did it anyways. I knew that I'd be okay because I've always been okay. Even in the darkest moments of my life, there has always been a tiny flame, and that flame has been my soul. So no matter how dark it gets around me, there's always a little bit of brightness inside. So why would this be any different? Why would I be being led to jump off a cliff and just plunge to the bottom? It's never gonna happen. You are so safe. Why? Because you're so guided. And God loves you so much. Your soul loves you. Your soul loves being part of you. I get that message all the time that my soul, it feels like such an honor to choose Abby as a human. Because Abby is so brave. Because Abby does make the hard decisions. Because Abby knows that she is meant for more. Because she moves when she is asked. Because she trusts. And I know that your soul is saying the same things to you. So if you're not hearing it because it's too loud inside of your head because you're scared, hear it when I say it to myself, and hear it when I say it to you. You are so brave because you've done things in your life that maybe people don't even know about. You've gotten yourself to places in your life that you never thought you could get to. You're doing things in your life that 1, 2, 5 years ago, you never could have imagined even doing. You're evolving. And that is something to be so celebrated and something to be so proud of. Yes, it is not easy. Yes, it feels flippin' crazy sometimes. It can feel really isolating. Not a lot of people are on this path, but there are a lot of people on this path. Once you start connecting, use what you have available to connect. Our devices, our phones, these social media apps are a blessing. You will meet so many people that are like-minded online, and if they're not close to you, that's okay. Use what you have. We are spread out for a reason. We have to anchor that light that's coming into this planet. But I am here for each and every single one of you. I am here for myself. And when you truly get comfortable with your soul and your human and the colliding that they do together, I promise you will never feel alone. It's like having a best friend all of the time who is a good best friend because they encourage you to do the best for yourself. My soul will literally guide me when I'm about to eat something that I shouldn't because I'm trying to numb out, because I'm trying to comfort myself, because I'm feeling chaotic and stressed and overwhelmed and human. She'll say, is that the best thing that we can have right now, or is there something better? God love her. Our souls want the best for us, which is exactly why it is safe to lean in to whatever you're being called to do, no matter how crazy it seems. And you do not have to justify anything to anybody. If someone says, wow, that's a really bad idea, say, I don't care for your opinion. You don't have to take the opinions of other people. You don't have to take on their fear as your own. You don't have to take on their judgment as if you're judging yourself. They're not on your path, so they can't tell you where to go because they can't even see. You can't even see half the time. You're going in blind. So why would you ever take anyone's advice that is not yours from your soul? I'm praying that you find peace in this week, knowing that it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be scared. But it's also okay to jump without having anything lined up, without having any idea. Jumping like this. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be more than okay. And when you get into the air, when you start soaring, you better pull your phone out. Drop a comment in the comment section below and tell me just how okay you were. Abby, I jumped and I was fine. I did the thing. I made it. I made it out of what I was in because I believed, because I trusted, because I know that from my limited human perspective, I cannot predict the outcome. So I'm going to stop trying to control. I'm going to stop trying to predict, and I'm going to trust. And when I lean back into that trust, my life is going to start flowing in a way that I could not even imagine. This might feel difficult right now, but you're going to look back on it and be like, wow, I wish I did it sooner. I wish I would have listened more. Because when that listening pays off, your life is going to be unrecognizable. I promise. Literally by the end of this year, I bet you your life is not going to look anything like it did at the beginning of this year.